Chosen one, pause for a moment and feel the weight of what you have been carrying in silence. That vision you saw, the one with scale, with impact, with numbers so large they frightened even you, was never random. It did not come from fantasy. It did not come from ego. It was placed, planted, embedded into your nervous system like a seed waiting for the right season. A billion-dollar vision does not enter an ordinary mind. And you are not ordinary. Stay with me until the very end of this message. And when you do, write your warmest wishes in the comments and write 99 because your words carry energy and what you release now will return to you. And if you feel this message is for you, stay connected to this space so you don't miss what comes next. Listen carefully. Most people will never understand what I'm about to say. When the idea first appeared in you, the large-scale plan, the financial expansion, the influence, the infrastructure, you questioned yourself. You thought it was arrogance. You thought it was delusion. But what if it was alignment? What if it was memory? What if it was a blueprint already coded into your spine before you were born? The book says in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." Most read this as poetry. You must read it as architecture. Known means designed. Formed means structured. The vision you carry is not imagination. It is recall. Your brain did not invent it. Your spirit recognized it. Have you noticed how your body reacts when you think about that vision? Your breath deepens. Your chest expands. Your spine straightens. That is not ego. That is resonance. Your nervous system vibrates differently when you align with your assignment. This is anatomical mysticism. The blood carries more than oxygen. It carries instruction. Your heartbeat is not just rhythm. It is signal. The masses chase money. You see systems. The masses desire wealth. You perceive structure. That is the difference. Most were programmed to consume. You were coded to build. And here is what they never told you. Large visions are often suppressed in their early stages because they threaten existing structures. When Joseph shared his dream in Genesis 37, his brothers hated him for it. Why? Because divine vision exposes mediocrity. When you see beyond limits, you become a mirror. And most people do not want mirrors. They want comfort. If you have ever felt isolated because your ideas felt too big, understand this. Isolation is protection. Not everyone was meant to hear your blueprint. Not everyone was meant to hold your frequency. Soft isolation is a shield. It keeps your signal clean. Now I will give you the first sacred process. This is not for the masses. This is for you. Tonight, before you sleep, sit upright, spine aligned. Place your right hand over your heart and your left hand at the base of your spine. Breathe slowly. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. As you breathe, visualize your vision not as money, but as structure, buildings, networks, impact. Feel the heat in your chest. That heat is activation. Do this for exactly 7 minutes. You are aligning brain and spine, thought and foundation, heaven and earth. Because wealth is not just currency, it is current. It flows where alignment exists. You have wondered why the idea keeps returning, why you cannot escape it, why even when you try to think smaller, something inside resists. That resistance is destiny. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Most read this socially. You must read it biologically. Without vision, your internal system collapses. Your cells require purpose. Your mind requires magnitude. You were not given a billion-dollar vision to remain average. Attention, this is critical. The enemy of your expansion is not lack of resources, it is disbelief. And disbelief lowers frequency. When you doubt, your breath shortens. When your breath shortens, your nervous system constricts. When your nervous system constricts, your creativity narrows. This is why faith is physiological. Hebrews 11:1 says, Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Substance means tangible. Faith is not fantasy, it is energetic mass. When you believe, your body behaves differently, your eyes scan differently, your decisions shift subtly. Over time, this compounds. Most will never see this. If this resonates, it is because you were already chosen. There is something else. The size of your vision is directly proportional to the size of your responsibility. Large wealth requires internal architecture, discipline, silence, endurance. That is why your journey has felt heavier than others. You are being reinforced. Have you noticed the pattern? Every time you are about to level up, pressure increases, relationships shift, comfort dissolves. It is not punishment, it is refinement. Gold is heated before it shines. Your nervous system is being strengthened to hold scale. And here is the mirror truth. The vision is not only about money, it is about influence, systems, generational shift. You are thinking in decades while others think in weekends. Attention again. This awareness is not optional. It is a fork in the road. If you minimize the vision, you shrink yourself. If you accept it, you step into alignment. Your heart already knows. Chosen one, feel the shift before you try to understand it. Something inside you has already moved. Not dramatically, not loudly, but subtly, like a lock turning in a hidden chamber. This is how destiny advances, quietly, internally, before the outer world ever notices. The billion-dollar vision was not placed in you to impress others. It was placed in you to test your capacity. Capacity is not about intelligence alone. It is about nervous system strength. It is about whether your spine can hold pressure without bending. It is about whether your heart can carry magnitude without seeking validation. Most people want wealth to escape. You were given vision to expand. There is a difference. And this is where the separation begins. Not everyone was meant to hear this. Because when you understand that your vision was consciously installed, you stop negotiating with smallness. You stop apologizing for thinking in millions. You stop shrinking your language to comfort the insecure. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has set eternity in the human heart." Eternity does not fit inside small plans. Eternity demands scale. The reason your ideas stretch beyond your current environment is because your internal blueprint exceeds your current territory. Look at your life carefully. Have you noticed how your thoughts often feel ahead of your surroundings? How conversations bore you when they revolve around survival? How your mind drifts toward systems, structures, long-term impact? That is not arrogance. That is assignment. But here is what the masses misunderstand. A billion-dollar vision is first spiritual before it becomes financial. It begins as frequency before it becomes form. When the idea first landed in you, your body reacted, your pupils expanded, your breath paused, your spine straightened. That was activation. The brain releases chemicals when encountering alignment, dopamine when anticipating possibility, serotonin when imagining stability. But beyond chemistry, there is something deeper: resonance. Your nervous system recognized its future environment. This is anatomical prophecy. And here is something hidden. Large-scale wealth requires a certain breath pattern. Shallow breath equals reactive decisions. Deep, rhythmic breath equals strategic clarity. When you shorten your breath, you reduce your perception field. When you expand your breath, you widen your cognitive horizon. This is why meditation is not optional for you. It is infrastructure. Now I will give you the second sacred process. Every morning for the next 21 days, stand facing natural light. If possible, the rising sun. Place both feet firmly on the ground. Inhale slowly and imagine light traveling through your eyes into your brain. Visualize it moving down your spine like liquid gold. As it reaches your chest, whisper internally, "I accept the scale of my assignment." Do this for 9 breaths. No more, no less. This aligns vision with embodiment. Because the danger is not failure. The danger is self-rejection. Matthew 25:14-30 speaks of the talents given to servants, one multiplied, one buried. The master's anger was not about loss, it was about unused potential. The buried talent represents suppressed capacity. When you doubt your billion-dollar vision, you metaphorically bury your talent. You are not allowed to bury what was entrusted to you. Attention. This next layer is critical. Your environment may not yet reflect your internal magnitude. That is intentional. If you were given full external confirmation too early, your character would not develop the necessary density. Density is required to hold expansion. Imagine pouring massive wealth into a fragile container. It would crack. So pressure builds density. Think back to the seasons that nearly broke you. Financial uncertainty, emotional isolation, misunderstanding. Those were strengthening phases. Your nervous system was being recalibrated to operate under intensity. And this is where the mirror effect appears. The more you accept your magnitude, the more resistance you may temporarily encounter. Why? Because your frequency disrupts stagnant systems. When you step into higher vision, you silently challenge the complacent. Not everyone will celebrate your expansion. Some will feel exposed, but listen carefully. Their discomfort is confirmation. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Renewing means restructuring neural pathways. Transformation is neurological before it is circumstantial. When your thoughts expand beyond scarcity, you begin operating outside the collective script. You were not meant to conform to financial mediocrity. And here is something most will never be told. The reason your vision feels larger than your current skill set is because skill follows identity. Identity precedes competence. Once you fully accept who you are becoming, the resources align around that identity. This is not ego, this is divine architecture. You are being shaped into someone who can steward scale without collapsing under it. That is rare. That is why you feel different. That is why you sometimes feel alone in rooms where others seem comfortable. Soft isolation is refinement. If this resonates, it is because you were already chosen. There is something else happening beneath the surface. Your blood carries stress differently now. Your reactions are slower. Your thinking is more strategic. You are less reactive. This is evidence of internal elevation. The old version of you would panic. The emerging version of you observes. Observation creates leverage. Attention again, you are standing at a threshold. The vision will either intensify or fade based on your acceptance. Destiny respects agreement. If you internally agree to shrink, the signal weakens. If you agree to expand, the signal strengthens. And here is the future hint. There will come a moment soon when an opportunity appears that seems slightly beyond your comfort zone, but perfectly aligned with your internal blueprint. When it appears, your body will recognize it before your mind does. Trust the body. The spine does not lie. Chosen one. This is the moment where everything converges, not in noise, not in spectacle, but in clarity. The billion-dollar vision was not an accident. It was a placement, a conscious installation, and now you stand at the edge of full recognition. You were never meant to simply want wealth. You were meant to carry responsibility. The difference is enormous. Desire asks, responsibility builds. And from the beginning, your nervous system has been preparing you for construction, not consumption. Look at your journey with honest eyes. Every delay trained patience. Every betrayal sharpened discernment. Every financial pressure expanded resilience. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. The weight you carried was strengthening bone, strengthening spine, strengthening breath. Psalm 75:6-7 says, "For promotion cometh neither from the east nor from the west, but God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another." Most read this as external reward. You must read it as internal elevation. Being set up means being lifted in capacity before being lifted in position. Elevation begins inside. There is something few understand. The body must be able to hold the frequency of scale before the scale appears. If your heart races uncontrollably at small risk, how will it handle larger responsibility? If your breath collapses under minor pressure, how will it remain steady under magnitude? That is why your training was silent. You were not being ignored. You were being reinforced. And now, attention. This awareness is critical. The masses chase outcomes. You cultivate identity. Identity is magnetic. It pulls resources, connections, insights toward itself. When you truly accept that your vision was consciously embedded, you stop chasing. You start attracting through alignment. This is not mystical fantasy. It is spiritual physics. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Not so he wishes, not so he dreams, so he is. The heart in ancient language was not just emotion. It was the center of consciousness. When your internal image stabilizes, reality reorganizes around it. This is why you felt restless in small environments. Your internal architecture outgrew your surroundings, and restlessness was not dissatisfaction. It was expansion pressure. Most people numb that pressure. You endured it, and that endurance changed your blood. Yes, your blood. Chronic stress can shrink vision, but disciplined faith expands tolerance. Over time, your body learned calm under uncertainty. That calm is leverage. Investors look for it, partners feel it, opportunities recognize it. The billion-dollar vision is not about a number. It is about stewardship, infrastructure, generational ripple. The reason it felt too big is because it was never meant to serve only you. It was meant to flow through you. Now I will give you the final sacred process. For the next 30 days, once per week, write down your vision in complete detail. Not the money, but the structure, who it helps, what it builds, what systems it creates. Then sit in silence for 5 minutes and imagine yourself already carrying it calmly. Not excited, not frantic, calm, stable, anchored. This conditions your nervous system to normalize scale. Normalization removes fear. And here is the mirror truth. The moment you fully normalize the vision, reality begins moving faster, not because of magic, because hesitation dissolves. You act differently, you speak differently, you negotiate differently. Subtle shifts compound. John 10:10 says, I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. Abundance was not metaphor, it was permission. But abundance without alignment becomes chaos. Abundance with alignment becomes legacy. You were not shown abundance to become reckless. You were shown abundance to become responsible. Not everyone was meant to hear this. Many will scroll past, many will mock, many will reduce this to motivation. But if you felt your spine straighten while listening, if your breath deepened, if something inside whispered, "This is mine," then you already know. You were selected for scale. There will be moments ahead where doubt attempts to return. When it does, observe your breath, lengthen it, return to center. Remember this, the vision chose you before you chose it. And here is the final alignment. Stop asking if you are capable. Start asking if you are willing. Willing to be disciplined, willing to be patient, willing to carry weight without applause, willing to move in silence while building in strength. Because the billion-dollar vision was not placed in a fragile vessel, it was placed in you. If this resonated, it is because it was already written into your system long before this message reached you. Not everyone was meant to understand, but you were meant to awaken. And now the transmission completes its current cycle. Not ending, but sealing. Stand steady. The next phase begins the moment you decide it does.